Welcome to the Way to Go podcast. I am Bill McMinn from Eagleville Bible Church. Along with me is Eric Barfell, our great youth pastor. And Eric, one of the things that you're doing is you are leading a Financial Peace University class, and you are into it, man. It's not even like, hey, somebody go twist Eric's arm and nearly break it, so he has to do it. You're like coming to us, I want to lead this class.
Oh, yeah.
I want to do it.
Oh, yeah.
You love it. Why do you love Financial Peace University so much?
I don't have a good answer for that. I just, over the last few years, it's come up to my attention that like a lot of people care about your money. They all want it. No one should care about it as much as you should.
Right.
And because of that, I started watching YouTube videos and Dave Ramsey videos and following some Instagram finance pages, and I've read a few books. I don't know. I've just become a total like personal finance nerd. And I don't disagree. I mean, in talking to you, I don't disagree with that. It's not that we don't talk about it. We talk about a lot of stuff. We talk about cultural things, and things going on in news and whatnot. But it does come up. I mean, I can tell you're passionate about it. I mean, in conversations, not that we've had since you're starting the class, I mean, over the last few years, and just what you talked about, which I think is really, really great. So Financial Peace University is by Dave Ramsey, and it's his what? What is this? He lays out 7 baby steps.
All right.
Create a budget, save up $1,000, pay off all your debts except for the house, save up a 3 to 6 month emergency fund, save for your kids' college, invest, the whole blah, blah, blah. It goes on and on and on. Ultimately, the end goal is live a crazy sacrificial lifestyle now, do things other people aren't doing now, so later you can live and give like no one else. Live now like no one else. Tell yourself no, save, budget, get out of debt, so later you can live a generous lifestyle. And one big thing that he says that I've come to notice is very true. Having more money isn't going to make you a better person or more popular. It's going to make you more of what you already are. Okay. If you're already a generous person, having more money is going to enable you to be all the more generous. Right. If you're a huge jerk now, you're going to be a even bigger jerk when you have money. Right. And I find that to be pretty true. And
does he actually say that?
Oh yeah, he does a lot of stuff that that you would not believe. But most definitely, because that's how people are. And I mean, there's a lot of stereotypes with money. It's not really a conversation you bring up at the Thanksgiving table along with politics and whatever else. Like, no, you don't.
People get jealous too. Like if you're doing well, I think sometimes, or if you got a new bike or new car,
it's
or
very
whatever.
easy to fake doing well. Very easy to fake doing well. Right. And that's where people get into some real hot water. Right. And so being able to through the course come alongside people and teach them, it's not a get rich quick plan or scheme of any sort. It's your money, your income, your debts, your house, your goals that you have in mind. How can you best accomplish them? And for me, it was, how can I be the best steward of all that God has given me? Right. And it was important. So that's when it really became important to me. And it was a sense of worship, really. Like, I want to be able to give more than just 10% to God. But I have student loan debt. I'm not able to do that because I like this baggage behind me. I have to get rid of it. Right. And a lot of people told me, oh, if you wait 10 years, the government will forgive it. Oh, you're a pastor.
And I heard that 10 years ago.
You wait 10 years, it will all go away. I'm thinking, dude, I'm on track to getting rid of this in like 30 some months. Why would I wait an additional 7 years? Right. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why would that? Why would I do that?
Plus, it's your responsibility. It's not the responsibility of some other taxpayer to pay my debt. That's the way I would look at it.
Absolutely.
So you like it. I mean, you like the course. You like.
You can say I love it. I love it.
You love it. You love it. You like his boldness. You like his approach. And,
his principles. Yeah, definitely.
How has it helped you in your finances?
One of the biggest ways is we use the budgeting website. It's called Every Dollar. This is the Dave Ramsey specific one that he's created. There's loads of things. You can get a free download on Microsoft Excel of a simple budget. Right. The biggest thing for me and how it's helped me is visually seeing how much money we're bringing in and how much / where the money is all going.
Okay.
I think that's one of the biggest issues people don't know.
Right.
It's on some magazine subscription. It's on a gym membership. It's on the car, the house, all the debt payments, whatever.
Right.
So I think a lot of people don't know where the money's going, which is unnerving when you plug your brain in, because it's like, wait a second, getting up every day, dragging my butt to work, and I don't know where the money's going? What's the point of being at work if you have no money at the end of the month?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
well, I think that part of it is, I know I've done budgeting. Some years I'm on a budget and some years I'm not. So I try to watch it. Jerry and I've talked. I like the Every Dollar budget app, and that's one app.
You use that as well?
Oh yeah. Well, when I do it, I do. That's how I would do
Gotcha.
it. Yeah. If I'm doing a budget, I would do it on the Every Dollar app, account. And I do like it because my wife can sign into the same account under my path, and then we both have it. And so whenever she would spend anything, she puts the amount in. Whenever I spend anything, and we both have the numbers at the same time. It just takes a discipline to do it. But I do think it's really good. I do know that there's two things. One, knowing where your money is. And there's a verse in the Bible that says that you need to know what the condition of your flocks are. And you apply that to finances, that you need to know what the condition of your finances are. And with the electronics, it's made it a lot easier. I remember I would tell my wife all the time, this went on for, years, seriously. How much do we have in the bank? Well, I'm not sure. I'll check for you. How much do we have in the bank? I'm not sure. I'll check for you. How much do we have in the bank? I'm not sure. I'll check for you. I would never know. I never, ever knew. I finally just insisted, I want the password. I want it now. And I'm going to know what's in that. So then I put it on my phone. And that's where this has really been a game changer, because then I can look at it multiple times a week and see where the money's coming out. Then you see, well, what was that again? Like, what's on this? How come we're paying this? And it actually caused me to eliminate some things, because I started to realize when I knew what I was paying, I got rid of DirecTV after a while, because I just didn't really think it was worth it. So
why am I paying for this? I don't really get
exactly. One time I walk into Verizon, and we were paying $15 a month to insure X number of phones. A lot of those phones were like 4 years old. Why am I paying $15 a month? I threw it all off. And when you have a new phone, insure it. But if the phone gets old, why am I still carrying insurance on it? Because at that point, you break it. It's just not going to matter, because it'd be time for another one anyway. So that kind of thing. I think when you're aware of what's going on and you start asking questions, it allows you to save money. So that's part of it, is just the budget helps you to know what you have, but a budget is also a plan for how you're going to spend your money.
Exactly.
And it's a plan to say, hey, this month, I know I'm going to have to buy clothes at some point. I know my car's going to break down at some point.
It's it's my
so you're always putting money aside. Well, I'm going to put money aside for car repairs now, not wait till I get $1,000 repair. And so when you do it little by little, and this helped me years ago, we do what they call the envelope system, and you would put money aside for a car repair, and then when it needed brakes, well, okay, I've already put that money aside. You've been putting money aside for Christmas all year. So when Christmas got there, it's not like, how am I going to pay for this?
Right. Exactly.
You already knew that was coming. And so you didn't treat the money in the bank account like a windfall profit. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, well, look at all the money. You knew you were going to be spending that money at some point. That is seriously when I had the most money in my life, was right then, or at least I felt like I did. Because you're on top of it.
You're tracking, attention. Just simply tracking it and knowing where
and planning
it is.
Are two things. Tracking, the budget app will help you do that. The Every Dollar budget app helps. But also having a plan, like, I'm only spending this much. And if I spend more than that, it's got to come from and then that makes you, well, man, I can't go out to the diner right now, or I can't go to get coffee right now. I can't, because sometimes you start tracking your money, you start finding out that you spend $50 a month on coffee. Well, maybe I don't need to spend $50 a month, $600 a year on coffee.
My senior year of college, one of the professors had us do that. He's like, track your spending for the next 2 weeks, and then we're gonna do like a little budget thing. Blah blah blah. My Taco Bell expenses. At the end of 2 weeks, and it was like late night trips with my buddies, and it was like $3, $5 here, there, whatever. It added up to, I was like, I could get a full like 2 weeks of groceries. What I just did in simple late night meals. I was like, I could feed myself like meals, and that was a big red flag for me. That was a big eye opener for sure. I was like, okay, well, time to make some changes and start telling myself no.
That was wise counsel. When I was in college, I would never buy pizza. My wife worked for a pizza place as a waitress, so I would go down, and Johnny, who was from Italy, I would eat the leftover pizza. So they would give it to me all the time. Like I would come in, I always wanted her to work because when I would pick her up at night, I'd get to go in and just scarf on any pizza that didn't get sold that day. And I loved it. And sometimes, depending on if Johnny was in a real good mood, then he'd be, oh, come on back, make yourself a sandwich. I was always hungry. Nice. I was in college, man. I was always hungry. And so that was cool. But I remember I wouldn't spend 35 cents on a pop. Mm-hmm. I would not spend any money on anything because I wanted to buy my wife an engagement ring.
Right.
And that was the only way I could do it to save enough money to do it was to not buy anything for myself extra. And so my friends always thought, what is wrong with you, man? You won't even buy a pop?
Right.
Nope. I will not buy anything. I won't buy a pizza. I won't buy anything I don't need because it was more important for me to have a ring for my wife.
There will be naysayers.
Right.
There will be people who look at your way of life and just question everything you're doing.
Right.
And that's, I mean, my parents were pretty frugal as well, being with 4 kids, not having loads of money either. It was like, if we went out to a sit-down restaurant, nobody's getting a soda, and you're all getting water.
Right.
First of all.
Right.
You're going to get from the kids, man. I mean, if it was a drive-through, it was like, until I got a job at McDonald's, I had truly never had anything that was not on the dollar menu.
Right.
And I still hold that principle now, to be honest.
Right.
But also, I love to cook.
Right.
My wife and I, we both just love to cook, and that's
good.
That's a huge money saver there. So we're not super.
Which is cool. You can do it together too.
Yeah, and we're not super extravagant spenders, but I love to ride my bike. That's pretty common if you know me. And ain't nothing cheap when it comes to sport of cycling.
Right.
Not a thing is cheap.
Right.
So there's some give and take
any
there.
hobby. You go into hunting, you go into steelhead fishing, you go into kayaking, which I'm into kayaking.
Yeah, it's
like my wife said, every one of these hobbies you have called photography is super expensive. Yeah. But anyway, what's your best financial advice?
I think, like I just said, knowing where your money's going.
Okay. Track it.
Yeah, exactly.
Spend them on tracking your money. That would be a tip, right? So,
because budgeting, to be honest, is pretty difficult, and sometimes even in the course they say this, it can take up to 3 to 4 months to get it right. So, we totally blew the budget here. No, try again. You got to figure out how much you need to actually spend spend, not want to spend, but need to spend in every category, what your monthly bills are, and just be that takes a few months on its own.
Right.
But by 6 months, you should have a good handle on your family's
Is he still
expenses.
the cash in hand for everything? So
yes.
So or debit card.
Yes.
So you're seeing what you're spending because there's nothing like seeing cash leave your hand. Because I have enough money to buy this one lens I want. I'm like, I don't want to see the money go out of the account.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's like you think about it a lot more when it's just on a credit card and you're not looking at those numbers.
Absolutely.
I think it's easier to spend. Reducing debt's always been an important thing, and I always like that snowball mentality where what you would do, and I used this actually at one time because the kids had orthodontist bills and I had a mortgage, and what we were doing is once we paid off one mortgage, I had 2 of them going at the same time. Once I paid the one off, then I took all that money and put it on the house. Once the house was paid off, now you're looking at $1,000 a month going to their orthodontist. So, and then that bill got reduced down way ahead of time because I was using this debt snowball. I was definitely discouraged. I'm a firm believer in using credit cards. That's where I depart from Dave Ramsey because when you're giving me 1 to 3% back because I'm using my credit card and my debit card will never give me that to you, I'm going to do it. This is where my wife and I are even different. She believes in the debit card. I believe in a credit card because they're going to give me money back at the end of the year. So I'm going to use it, but I never use it if I'm not going to pay it back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If I can't pay it back, I'm not just running into debt.
But some people truly do not have that kind of self-control, and they're like, credit card, I'm going to go spend on everything I've ever wanted. And I believe personally you can use it responsibly.
Right.
I myself do. Might be a Dave Ramsey hypocrite, sure, but we pay it off every month. We've never had credit card debt.
Right.
We're never going to.
Right.
Some people truly can and should not have a credit card.
Right.
Because they're just going to go hog wild with it.
Right.
And I've seen that before.
Right. Well, when I remember I never looked at the deals, and this deal came across, and I looked at it, I'm like, why do you always throw the credit card offers away? I don't want to see them. I'm like, this one's offering 3% back on all. I ran all of my kids' college payments through the credit card.
Oh, okay. And then just paid it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because I was getting 1% back. those are significant amounts of money going to colleges. I would use it for gas, hotel costs on vacation. I'd have enough money to pay for part of Christmas at the end of every year. That to me
there are some big wins in credit cards.
That made financial sense. I'm not the guy they're making money off of. I'm the guy they're giving money to. They're making it off of somebody else. I'm actually the guy that's actually making money by using it.
If you spend it on things you're going to buy regardless, your basic groceries, that kind of thing.
Right.
Like my wife has a airline credit card. The two of us flew to Denver and back. I think it ended up costing us $20.
Oh yeah, that's great. Right.
Well, why would we? And she only had it for a limited time, but it would have been free. But we spend on things we would have bought regardless.
Right. I think, too, one of the wise things I've heard people say is sometimes people do consolidation debts and they'll take credit cards and put it on there, and then you got a 10-year loan for a pair of shoes that are going to last a year. That's not a good use of going into debt for things that are not going to even be around when you're still paying the debt off. Not a good idea. But getting out of debt is hugely important. Tremendous. And I would highly recommend that being one of the first things, and I would counsel any young person, get out of your college debts first. Make it a high priority, because you're going to be a slave to that debt. Just like it says in the Bible, Proverbs, you're a slave to the lender. Yep. I didn't want to be a slave to the lender. So I was always trying to get out of debt. And I don't mind having a debt for a car. I don't mind as long as I have a good down payment for it. I don't mind it. I get it. But on the other hand, other kinds of debt, no, I really don't want it. And then once you're out of debt, you should be saving money.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you got to take care of yourself someday. You can't always, I've been not one to want to count on Social Security. So I want to save my own money so that I'm ready to go, because the older I get, the more I see, and this is the importance. And one thing I've seen, you haven't seen it yet, but you will see it someday, I know. The more money you save when you're younger, the more chance it has for interest. And the value of accumulated interest and compounding interest is phenomenal.
Absolutely.
When you start getting older, your nest egg, 1 month in it is unbelievable what it'll do in just 1 month. That stock market jumps. Now, it'll be unbelievable what it'll do if it goes down too. But because now you're talking about compound interest on a bigger egg, more money surface there to get traction, it's helping you out tremendously. And that's where the value of it is. But that wouldn't happen if I wasn't saving when I was younger.
Right, exactly.
So when you're a young person, I would tell any young person, save money. I would tell anyone, save money. Even for myself, I would say, if nothing else, save money for vacations you want to go on, save money for Christmas, get ready.
Yeah, and you want to, hopefully by the end of your life, you're going to have something to pass on to your kids, your grandkids, to be able to give like that and have that generational wealth and that kind of generational impact in your time on the earth. I think people want to support their kids' baseball team and whatever organization and startup company that they believe in and whatever else, give more to their church and their Bible study group and do good deeds for people financially and spot them. But you can't do that when you got a stack of bills and a huge baggage of debt behind you, that, and that's what's so tough. So to me, you can't really be doing both. You are still paying off your former lifestyle or current lifestyle and all your old choices. You got to get rid of that. Pay off your debts so you can live and give generously.
And look into too, if you get a loan on a house, don't get a 30-year note. Try to get a 15-year note. That's what I told my daughter to do. She'll have it paid off before 15 years. I said, you're just better off. You'll pay far less interest over the long range because it's far less years. Try to get it off soon. My goal was, and I hit it, my mortgage was going to be paid by the time my kids went to college. So then that mortgage payment, I had to help them at college. So that was my goal. So when they were hitting college, my house was paid for.
Sure.
I feel sorry sometimes for people with a house and they're going to be 75 or 80 before the thing's paid off. It's like, hey, if that's where you're at, that's where you're at. I would just encourage, hey, don't get discouraged. Do the best you can. Save money. Do a budget. Be responsible. All good principles are going to pay off, and no matter what age you are. But if you do happen to be younger and you're listening to this show, now is your time to save. Now is your time to get a house. And right now, housing costs, by the way, are going way up. So you got to be praying about that. If I was looking for a house right now, I would be in prayer. Lord, help me to know when a house is going to turn up. Maybe you'll get one before it even goes to the market because you know somebody whose parents are selling.
Let me ask you this. Was personal finance ever a class in high school, college?
No, never.
I think it was offered
Never.
in high school one semester, but I think I want to encourage everyone else to like be having this conversation with your kids, like teach them about money.
Right.
That way they're not totally doomed by the time they turn 18 and graduate high school. Like
Right.
they have some knowledge on how to handle money
Right.
and how to manage money. Truly life-changing when you have a good handle on that.
I would agree, and I'll end with this. Larry Burkett was big when I was younger, and let's say I'm 30 years old. So it's Larry Burkett, Crown Financial.
Okay.
Yeah. He wrote a book, something to the effect is called Finances for Young Married Couples.
Gotcha.
It revolutionized me because I thought I was good. Like I really thought I knew how to handle. I didn't. I really didn't understand money. I thought I did. I didn't.
Sure.
Because when I read that book, I realized, no, you did not understand. Because there was a lot of stuff that guy taught me in very simple fashion. I'm reading chapter after chapter, just absorbing all this information that would transform my life, really, especially financially, that I would not, there's no way I would have been able to guess it. Like I had to know from somebody who knew more than I did. And that's where the Financial Peace University, Dave Ramsey, Larry Burkett has passed away at this point, but I'm sure you can still get hold of his books. Really great information, and I would encourage you to avail yourself. The $1 app or the Every Dollar app is a great app. I would encourage you to put it on your phone. There's a free version. There's a X number of dollars a month version. I use the free version because I think that's good enough for me and what I'm doing. So, because I can see what money's coming to the bank and what goes out, and I can put it in the app and things like that. So I would highly encourage you guys to get that because we have a responsibility. It's all God's money. I'm just a steward of what He's given me in the first place. I certainly a firm believer of tithing and giving back to God. And the more generous you are, the more you get back. Those are all good principles too. But you guys all have a great and a blessed week.